Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashni.
Can you tell us about the United Nations Climate Envoy calling for urgent specification of energy transition action?
This just transition, I think we need to take it very seriously. There is funding for it if we seek it, and there is global actual momentum now asking you, please specify what your projects are. I don't think this opportunity should be allowed to be passed by, because when we go through some of the webinars in global situations at the moment, you find that they're going to be looking very closely at the carbon content of your products. Already, Europe is going to have borders that will examine what the carbon content is. If you're using coal-fired power, it's going to be a penalty for you. And possibly, at some stage, they might not even let your product in. So if we are concerned about exports, which we have to be, even our metals and minerals, we're going to have to make sure that we get involved with this whole world momentum at the moment that's moving forward. And you can see that the help they're wanting to give is enormous. Coming out of Glasgow, the COP26, they realize that the just transition alone is going to involve trillions of dollars worth of activity. And they're talking about saying the money's there. Just give us specifically what you're going to do and give it early. And we will allow you to go ahead with these projects in a funded fashion. Most of them are hugely job creating. So if we want to create these jobs as the coal-fired power moves out, I think we've got to move early as South Africa. And you see that in Mpumalanga, there are power stations that are closing down. I mean, what an opportunity. Close the power station, close the coal mines, and get this specified project approved globally and get the funding and go ahead with it and include a lot of the local activity, and you'll have a very great opportunity to create jobs.
And the Shell Foundation is also calling for an energy transition through on-the-ground projects to transition developing countries to renewable solutions.
It's the Shell Foundation, looking at this same situation, but looking at people and places and saying, people are going to be affected by this, places are going to be affected by this. You don't want to create ghost towns. We saw what happened with our mining industry as it moved out of certain parts of activities in South Africa. There was no sustainability planned. And so that era has passed now. People are saying, once you've got activities going in an area, make sure they're sustainable. There is funding for this. And at the same time, through blended finance, you can create a lot of entrepreneurs in these areas who will help to get this just transition across the finish line and keep it going sustainably. And this is the sort of offers that are coming up at the moment. These are the observations. And Shell Foundation, of course, linked to the Shell company, realizing that oil and gas going to be phased out, but also coal is going to be phased out, and wanting to assist with this phasing out and take the opportunity to really create huge success out of it with the help of entrepreneurs in the area, small and big, and also the big companies specifying their projects and going ahead with these projects.
Lastly, Martin, Glencore reported its own just transition commitments, and it repeated its strategy to run down its coal 15% by 2026 and 30% by 2035, as it plans to be net zero by 2050.
Yeah, so you can see that the big companies are actually laying out their strategy. They're telling you exactly what their strategy is going to be. And if you look at some of the activities around closed coal mines in Mpumalanga that were part of the Glencore group or associates group, you can see that they've already engaged in agriculture to ensure that when they move out of an area, there is continued activity there. In fact, if you look at it carefully, that winter wheat project that they announced out in Mpumalanga, that has got an infinite horizon, whereas your coal mining has got a finite horizon. So it's so important now to move in. You know that you're going to need the coal for a certain period, but you deplete it over a certain period, and you also plan for new activities to take place that will replace the coal mining and the power station activity, and get the community involved, get your employees involved. And we can see that these big companies actually have been doing it for a long time, as we saw with Glencore. We're also looking at Hunter Valley now in Australia. You know, the announcement that's come out of there that they want to turn these old power stations into green hydrogen hubs. So everybody's thinking, everybody's doing things, and there are tremendous opportunities at the moment to go for clean energy, and funding, you know, being offered at good rates, blended finance coming through, banks being involved, all sorts of organizations active. So South Africa needs to take up this opportunity. It's a great opportunity. And at the same time, we know that we're going to need the coal to be burnt over a period, because you can't just change that rapidly. But at least we'll be able to tell the world that we're moving away from very intensive carbon activities, so that we don't get penalized when we try to export our products.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next time for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.